All right, here we are again, another Power BI tutorial. This one we're going to be covering how to create buttons. We're going to use the buttons to navigate to bookmarks that we've created. It's basically going to do the same functionality that we have here in our bookmark navigator, only we're going to use buttons. Sometimes you need to know how to use buttons. They can be pretty handy. So we're going to walk through that, and you guys can get some practice with both of those things. All right, so we're going to start off by clicking our insert. Then we're going to select buttons, and let's just do a blank button on this one. It's going to pop it up here into our upper left corner. I'm going to drag this thing. And before I create another button, really by copying and pasting, let's do a little bit of stylization on this button. It seems to be easier to get it stylized how you want, get it looking and feeling how you want. Then after that, let's copy it, change the text on it a little bit, but at least all the styling's already done. We don't have to repeat it twice. If you do copy and paste right now, you can always use the paint, what's it called? The paint formatter or format painter here to replicate the same styling. So either way, but we're going to grab that button that we want. Let's rename it here to, we're going to call this vendor sales. We can vendor sales, and we're going to go through the shape. I'm going to give it a rounded rectangle. And as with all buttons, there's several different states. We've got the hover, the press, the disabled. Usually I don't mess with the disabled, mostly just with the on hover and press. I'm going to change my style here. Let's move this over so we can see all of our different options. I'm going to expand out the fill. So I'm going to do default settings first. On default, we're going to give it some text here. We're going to say that this is vendor sales. Okay. And we got our text there. It now shows up in our button. Awesome. And I'm going to give it a little bit of fill on. I'm just going to leave it with a white background color. You can always trick it out a little bit if you want to do images or anything like that. Leave the background and the border, that's all fine. I'm then going to select another state. Let's do on hover. I want the same text information to display. I'm just going to change the fill color so that it's light gray. And then we have one last state to define, on press. Let's go ahead and change that. On press, I'm going to make the font color white, and I'm going to change the fill color to dark gray. So we can check the functionality out. If we do it on hover, there's the light gray. If we control and click, that does our selected. So it looks like all the states do exactly as we define them. Currently, we don't have any action associated to this button. So let's go ahead and change that. To do that, we're going to select on again, we're in our format for the button. It's selected. In our action, let's turn action on. We're going to then select the bookmark as our action, and we're then going to associate this button to the vendor sales information. Okay, so now we should be able to hit this button with the control button on our keyboard selected, and we should see this change over to total sales and this change from purchase price to sales price by vendor. So let's give it a try. All right, there we go. We got vendor sales. You can see that the visualization title changed. Over here, it changed to total sales. Awesome. Okay, let's do the same thing, but let's create it for our vendor purchase. So I'm just going to copy and paste. So a little Control C, Control E. Let's move down a little bit. Change our action over here from vendor sales over to vendor purchase. A little extra practice here, and then we can go and change our text. I'm going to set this to default, and we're going to change this over to vendor purchase. Okay. And select on hover, vendor purchase, and on press, vendor purchase. Okay, those are all changed. So, looks like we could make this a little bit bigger now. So now we've got our two buttons. Really, again, it's doing the same thing that we did in our bookmark navigator, just showing you guys how to do some buttons on it. But we can do a control click and toggle between the two things. Okay, that's how you create buttons. Again, we're using the selection here to control what each bookmark state looks like, what's being hidden, what's being shown. But with some buttons and some selection, you can really create a whole different user experience. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Let me know. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.